What's up, guys? Justin Russell with RussellMarineProducts.com here with
Josh from RussellMarineProducts.com.
And where are we today?
We are on Lake of the Woods in northern Minnesota near the Canadian border, trying our hand at ice fishing for the first time and bringing you a comparison.
So this is one of the most popular comparison videos that you guys are going to want to see. So not only did we want to get to it and do it immediately, but we also wanted to do it where we could actually see some live action and hopefully put some fish catches in there to do some comparison stuff. So today we are going to compare the Lowrance Active Target, their new live imaging, and
the tried and true Garmin Livescope. We're going to see how this stacks up. Doing it on some hard water for the first time. We're going to check it out.
So really excited to bring this to you guys. So be sure to follow around, check it out, see for yourself which one you think's better and why.
Let's get to it. Let's get this battle going.
Yeah, let's get inside. It's cold. All right, guys, the first thing we want to go over here is I'm going to begin talking about the Lowrance Active Target. Now, Active Target is extremely similar to the product that's currently out on the market, Livescope. But a quick rundown to go over some of the similarities on it. It does have its own module, power cable, Ethernet cable, and of course, transducer. So black box module is powered up through its own power supply source. It's hooked into the HDS wake-up wire, yellow wire, similar to a 3D module and transducer that we've seen in the past. You also have your Ethernet cable. That's what feeds the information here. So this is going to work on a carbon unit, an Elite FS, which is a brand new unit, and of course the HDS Live units. We have ours hooked up today on an HDS 9 Live. We are running default settings here. Next, I want to showcase what lure we're using. I am going to put a minnow on the lure. I want you guys to be able to see the clarity, see how everything's going. So one of the very first things I'm going to do is I'm going to actually reel my jig up out of the hole here, grab a little minnow, put a minnow on. This is the lure with the little minnow on here, so 1/8 ounce. I'm going to drop this in the hole here. And we'll watch that go down the screen here in a second. You can see her going down the screen right here. So it's in the cone very, very well. You can see how big, you can actually see the little parts of the minnow on the back side over there on the left that is going down. You can see that's Ryan's lure jig in there. He's in the ice shack with us. Now the main thing I want to discuss here, guys, is we're an 18-degree cone and we're 135 degrees forward and back. So it's very similar to Livescope. Livescope's 20-degree cone. Which one's better? Well, in my opinion, the narrower cone is going to show you directly where you're at as long as you're in the cone. But if it's mounted on a trolling motor or a pull mount, that's going to make it more of a challenge for you to be able to actually hit that target and showcase your lure on that imaging. But when you see an image like a fish or a piece of structure and see your lure on the screen, you're actually going to be closer to it, not further away, which in my opinion is a good thing. So showing you basically less stuff or less structure, but you're going to be more precise on that. It's going to force you to have to also cast better and understand where your cone angles are to make sure when you make a cast that you fall in there so you see it on the screen. So we've got this in down mode. I am jigging my lure up and down right here. You can see that detail there. These are some bubbles that are coming up from my lure right there. So you can see that definition. Again, we're running everything on auto settings here, and to just showcase that, I'm going to go restore default mode, put everything in auto range, everything in the mode. We're down here on everything. The screen will go back to full screen here after about 15 seconds. That way you guys can see that we're a direct side-by-side comparison, auto settings right out of the box. So you see my lure again jigging up and down. You can see Ryan pulling his up as well too. Ryan's is on the left right there, mine's on the right. And Ryan is reeling up a fish on another line. Ooh, here's a big fish right there coming down. Let's see if we can catch that one right there. Fish is looking at it. So you can see big fish holding real tight to the bottom there. There's my lures now behind the fish. You can see how close that lure is from that thing, whatever it is a lot bigger than what we've been catching. So a lot bigger fish. All right, guys, next I want to go through some of the menu settings here so we can be able to pull everything in to showcase what we're doing on the menu. Okay, we've got our range setting as auto. We've got contrast also set to auto. Noise rejection is set to low. That is also a standard feature within that as well too. Noise rejection is just that. It's noise rejection. So if we had other transducers, other electronics, boat engines running or trolling motor, it reduces that as well too. So I don't want to say it's basically taking some sensitivity away, but it's rejecting some of that interference noise that we're used to seeing. So go back down through, we'll go to more options. We can stop our sonar. Our flip view, that's if we have it mounted on the port or starboard side of the trolling motor. That's when we utilize the flip view feature. We have 6 different palettes that we can choose from on here. So the basic 6 that we've had for a long time with Lowrance, those palette colors are uploaded here. We have stable view. We have our range grid. So we can put range marks on there if you guys like range marks. For what we're doing here, I'm not necessarily a fan of range marks, and I've got a fish right here. Following a lure. Sorry, this is really addictive and really fun. I now understand why you guys who ice fish absolutely love it. So continuing on, you can go down here and actually record straight off your screen record view as well too. So this is a quick rundown. This gives you guys an idea. If you can see lures on the screen, obviously seeing fish, walleye on the screen, seeing Ryan's lure being jigged up and down too, seeing a fish holding very tight to the bottom and stuff. So, oh, I just had one, missed it. See where it came up? Here it's coming back down. It's actually looking towards Ryan's lure right now. All right, next up, we're gonna re-rig up and show you the Livescope and do a comparison. We'll set these things side by side for you, let you decide which one looks better to you guys.
All right, guys, so Justin just went over the features of the brand new Lowrance Active Target. Like I said, this is a comparison. We're gonna go over our old tried and true buddy here, the Garmin Livescope. We're gonna go through some of the same things. It is the 20-degree cone angle versus the 18 degrees of the Active Target, still 135 degrees of the array altogether. There's a lot of similarities between these things. You're going to see it on the screen, and you'll see it in some of the physical appearances as well. The transducers themselves have 3 different arrays of transducers with 2 transducers each, giving you a total of 6 shooting transducers being processed by a box. Some of the things we know about the Livescope. Again, similar to what Justin just went over for the Active Target. It does run through a box. The box has its own power source and feeds the information via an Ethernet connection to the Garmin units. Today, we are running this test on a Garmin 106 SV, the EchoMap Ultra. It's a very, very close comparison to the Live 9 as far as features, screens, and such, so it should be pretty darn close. We're running it on the same power. We're using an amped outdoors 30 amp hour battery. Check those things out. Unbelievably long runtime, even with this live technology hooked to it and a unit. Fantastic. Something like 14 hours on a 30 amp hour battery. It's ridiculous. I'm going to be using the same pole, the same Lindy's glow spoon with the minnow on it, so you guys can see it dropping on the screen looking exactly the same. So let's go ahead and go over to the unit. I'm going to show you guys again putting on, oh, Ryan's got one. It's having a great day here up at North. So on the screen, you can see that guy, there he is. He's bringing it right up to his hole just off to the side. There it is. So just like we did on the Lowrance, I want to show you guys that we're going to go into default settings. We're going to set that back over. This is going to kick me back to the main menu for a second, but we'll get right back in there. So like you see, orientation change, we'll fix that in a sec. So we are on default. Give me just a second here. We'll get us where we're going. All right, we are in down view. One thing I want to do here, I'm going to go ahead and remove the grid lines just so it's a close comparison to what we just had on the Lowrance. We want you guys to see it as close to apples as possible. All right, so there we go. Man, really similar. we're seeing the bottom, we're seeing action from the jigs over next to us, close to color scheme as well. So Lowrance's out of the box, they also cover the palettes, of course, with different options. Is a little more of a yellow as the basic color. Garmin's amber is the one that comes out. You hear us talk about it a lot. I love black emerald, the green color, especially in polarized glasses, but you can go through those options as well. So let's go ahead and drop this spoon down and see what we see. There she goes. Again, it's very, very clear. This is something we've been seeing on Livescope for a couple years. You can drop it down, just stop it for a sec, jig it up. You guys can see it there in the middle of the screen. Got air bubbles coming out of the spoon as well. This Lindy's spoon set up for glow sticks, so they're in the center. It's got a nice hole in it, so it's causing air bubbles when you drop it and stop it. But I mean, as far as a comparison goes, guys, man, it's close. I mean, really, really close. We do see, again, a lot of similarities to hammer this in. You know, you do see some of the arrays up at the top. We are in very clear water. You're gonna see this in one of the other videos we're doing up here. We're talking about water clarity. So we ask our guide in the Great White North up here, what's going on with water clarity? He's like, oh no, it's not that clear. It's only about 8 feet, which, you know, we're from Muddy Water, Kansas. So, you know, anything over 3 feet is ridiculous for us. So the water is very clear, and you can see that on the screen. Not a lot of background noise. You're not seeing a bunch of silt in there. Again, seeing that jig come up off the bottom. Oh, had one run up on it and just dropped out of the way. Did you guys see that? Okay, so we got a really good look at this in auto settings, just like we did on the Lowrance. Let's look through some of our menu options and see what kind of things we have going there as well. So our gain, we've got it on auto medium. We've talked about this a fair amount. Auto medium works pretty well for basically all water conditions. You can play with that and get it dialed in more. Range also set to auto. The pause sonar, you can do that for screen captures, whatever. Transmits on, and then our sonar setup, so we're getting to the meat and potatoes. So we can go into our appearance, our color schemes. Again, it's something we've talked about quite a bit here. We can go into yellow, looks like old school sonar a little bit, blue, orange. That's actually kind of close to that Lowrance number 3 palette, and black emerald, something I'm very fond of and like running that, especially with polarized glasses. And we, of course, we've talked about copper for bad water conditions. So lots of options there within the color scheme. Our color gain also set to default, not something we mess with a whole lot. You can adjust that to get some of that background fuzz out of it. The one thing I am seeing here after watching the Lowrance side of it is it's not as sharp, to be honest. You know, we're seeing that background kind of crackle, if you will, just that fuzz that comes through it, where the Lowrance is just more sharp. Also, the arrays towards the very surface, they are more pronounced. Again, I'm in copper now, and it really kind of washes some of that stuff away, but the targets aren't as precise either. You can do any of your overlays. Noise rejection, I do have that on medium. It's like Justin talked about, if you've got other electronics and anything trying to bring interference, you can kick that on to try to mediate that and get that out of there. Our on-screen controls, we have it set for gain, so you can do it without going into the menu. Of course, installation. Now, we have the flipped mode. Again, if you're mounting it on the transducer, trying to get, on the trolling motor, and you've got that transducer mounted on the other side. Our compass calibration, something that's not going to be important for ice fishing, but it's one thing we use. Orientation set to down, and then where you can restore your defaults and go through it that way. But through the rundowns, they are called different things, but we're seeing, oh, that was sad. We just saw that on camera. It'll last forever. Anyway, Ryan missed a fish. It's okay. It's okay. Not a big deal. I missed 3 today, or hooked 3, lost 3. Hey, we don't want to get into it. Anyway, so you see a lot of the menus, similar functions, even though they may have some different names and some different nomenclature there. again, very similar. Seeing a little more sharpness out of the Lowrance. Other than that, it's pretty darn good. You guys that already have Livescope and have had it for 2 years enjoying the benefits of live targeting, still looking pretty good. Well, ooh.
You don't have gloves on.
I don't.
It's very cold. So we just wrapped up our comparison video between Active Target, the new Lowrance imaging that's out, and then also Livescope's been out for about 2.5 years now. And I was really surprised by it.
Yeah.
Really close.
Oh my gosh, really close. Yeah.
I don't know how well it's going to come across in the videos and stuff. We'll see from editing and stuff here after a bit, but I kind of feel like there was just a little bit of an edge there on one versus the other and stuff. What about you?
I got to give a little bit of an edge to Lowrance. Sorry.
Is what it is.
It's a little bit. No, it's extremely close. Where we're seeing that is just a little more crisp. When you're looking at that Lindy spoon going down, you know, it's a small target. Garmin obviously picks it up. You can see it on the screen. It looks great. But you get just a little more definition out of the Lowrance.
Yeah,
the background fuzz is not as that, you know, and
the noise.
Exactly. And you can get some of that stuff out with settings. We've talked about it 100 times. But on straight up factory, Lowrance, it looks good. It looks really good. Great job.
Cheers to you guys at Lowrance.
Yeah. One thing I will say, one thing we've seen in the comparisons on pricing, because, you know, at the end of the day, we sell this stuff, right? Lowrance did something that usually Garmin pulls. They added in the extra part for no extra money. We didn't talk about that.
Yeah, that's interesting.
The perspective mode from Garmin just came out. It was an addition with the software update. It's a $99 mount. Lowrance Scout mode included $14.99 price. So they actually got it beat by $100.
Yeah. That's a good point.
Yeah.
Didn't think about that until now. Keep in mind, guys, this is our first comparison. So ice fishing, first opportunity we've had with it. We're going to take our Lowrance Active Target. We're going to go put it on my boat. We're going to have a side-by-side comparison on the water, back home where it's warmer. We don't have all this ice and snow and sleet and all this fun stuff. So, but anyway, guys, be sure, like, share, and subscribe. Round 2 is going to be coming here shortly after this one as well, too. Get some on the water, actual in the water, on the water comparison, not on hard water. So, thanks for stopping by, guys. Be tuned. Check us out, russellmarineproducts.com, sales at russellmarineproducts.com, and finally,
a big thanks to Ballard's Resort up here at Lake of the Woods in Minnesota.
They're awesome.
If you guys come up here, check them out. They're fantastic. We got the cabin, we got the ice house. It's heated. First time for us, we're used to southern hospitality. This northern hospitality is not bad. These guys are great. Check them out, Ballard's Resort. We're actually going to put a link to them also in the description below. Check out their website. Book a trip with these guys. They're top notch.
Thanks, guys.
See you next time.